What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome back to WWE 2K19 Universe Mode Worlds Collide. Time for some SmackDown Live. Opening the show, we have Rey Mysterio, Finn Balor, The Bunny, Dean Ambrose, Waluigi, and Shane McMahon, the best in the world. I'm going to give it to that dastardly Waluigi. After that, it is the Club versus the Undisputed Era. I will give that to Adam Cole, baby. And then the continuing rivalry of Sanity versus The New Day. And so I welcome you to a fine Sunday, lazy Sunday here on the program. Certainly some wrestling news to discuss on this Sunday. Last night was a Starrcade as a house show. And that'll be 1 hour of that will be on the network today. And what you may wonder is going to be on that condensed version of that program. It's going to be an 8-women tag team match, an Elias segment, a Miz TV segment, and Joe versus AJ in a solid steel cage. And that brings up some interesting points in terms of them doing house shows and putting house shows essentially on the network. Is that had like 8 or 9 matches on that house show. I've seen the whole card, right? And the problem they're going to run into in putting house shows on the network is a lot of the time the talent spends those house shows getting their matches worked out, right? They'll practice spots of those matches. You're going to see Dean versus Seth on a lot of house shows between now and TLC. And if you're in the crowd, cool, like perhaps the finish might not be the same, but they're practicing spots during the matches to get things ready for pay-per-view. And if they start putting house shows on the network, you're going to see those same spots on the house shows and then also on the main card pay-per-view. So I understand why you wouldn't have had the whole Starrcade on the network, because then you already would have seen Dean versus Seth, which you aren't supposed to see until TLC. It's supposed to be special for that. But generally, that's how house shows work. Guys practice in front of a live crowd to gauge reactions for different spots of a match before the match actually happens for real on pay-per-view. But also, you will often see guys or girls who've been away from an injury or whatever. They'll come back on a house show first. Kind of gets that ring rust dusted off. And last night, Bray Wyatt made an appearance at Starrcade during an open challenge from Baron Corbin. So, LAN cable not... Is my internet down? What the hell? What the hell? Why the hell? Okay. I don't need the internet to make this work, so... Besides the point. But yeah, so Bray Wyatt coming out and beating up Baron Corbin. I guess he's still a face, or at least on his house show, he was a face. It could be different once he's back on TV. You really don't know. Now, obviously, not all the matches on Starrcade people were going to care about. There goes the... Alright, internet, thanks. They're not going to care about. Like, I don't want to see the B team versus the Revival, and certainly having the B team defeat the Revival. That's not something I want to see on a pay-per-view type thing, so whatever, sure, fine. But, again, you had this 1 hour special, but you didn't have Charlotte and Asuka. Like, you had an 8-women tag match, but you didn't have Charlotte versus Asuka on your 1 hour deal. So, and also, that Miz TV segment set up a match, and they had the segment, but not the match. That's kind of weird, but it is what it is. Anyway, moving on to some announcements. We have the NXT UK is getting their own takeover in January on the 12th. That's pretty hype. So a UK pay-per-view, essentially, even though it's a network special, you get the idea. So kudos to those guys. But then, if you extrapolate that in your head, you're like, alright, number one, we're getting multiple takeovers in January. Obviously, you had the one before the Royal Rumble, right? But then further extrapolate that to, well, if they introduce NXT, South America, or NXT Japan, or, like, how many takeovers can you possibly fit into a calendar year? It might end up being a little bit overkill. If they're all going to get their own show, they're all going to get a takeover. There's already too much wrestling to keep track of in any given week. As someone who loves wrestling and watches a lot of wrestling, there's already too much. So that's just even more. And perhaps certain of those will be regionalized and only available in their home language or something. I don't know. There are ways to do that. EY, though, just stomping away on Big E. Big E versus EY. E versus E. Oh no. Where is he? Where is he? Gotta be somewhere. And look at... That was a pointless and meaningless distraction because EY didn't fall for it. So, Sanity, too clever. Too clever for New Day shenanigans. Anyway, speaking of cards being announced that had little interesting details that may or may not end up being true, coming up in 2019, there was a show advertised in May for SmackDown. And normally, those matches might not end up being what they are when they get announced. That's why it says card subject to change. But the match itself is not where the interesting bit lies, right? So it said, oh, here's this show. It's going to be AJ versus The Miz, right? For the WWE title. That could happen on a SmackDown in May of next year. You don't know, right? I mean, that says that AJ or Miz gets the belt by then, but sure, that's, in May, whatever. That's after WrestleMania, whatever. But here's the part where you're like, wait, what? It says AJ versus The Miz for the new WWE title. And you're like, wait, what new title? Are they going to redo that belt and make it blue? Are they going to rename it, rebrand it? Like, what does that mean, new title? Are they going to introduce another different title and have that be a new title? Bring back the TV title, like, why would it say new title? Of everything else on that, like, little thing of the card that might change, that part sticks out in what the hell do they mean new title. Now, that could be some intern screwing around. Like, it could be something where the people writing up the copy here for this card does not actually understand how wrestling works. But that, to me, stuck out as, wait a minute. So, perhaps a spoiler, perhaps not. Again, card subject to change. The big ending on EY. 1, a 2, only a 2 count. So Big E here, doing his thing, doing his power game on EY. You would think that Big E would easily take out Eric Young, but never discount the power of chaos. Even if Sanity has been jobbed the hell out on SmackDown so far, never discount the power of chaos. And even with the distraction, Eric Young here is still just getting it done. So, kudos on that, Eric Young. He survived the big ending. Can he win the match against Big E? Wheelbarrow neck breaker from EY. That is impressive, considering how big Big E is as compared to E. And Eric Young gets the job done. Good God Almighty, I am in shock right now. Chaos reigns here on SmackDown Live. Got the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. We're going to give it to those Bludgies. Jeff Hardy versus Rusev with Aiden English. I would certainly give any match to your boy Rusev. And then once again, Randy Orton versus All Might. The match of matches, folks. This might just be a challenge that is too tough for Randy Orton, because as of yet, he has not gotten the job done at all versus All Might. No pun intended. Just lost in a cage, lost on pay-per-view, lost in a regular match. Like, Randy has to get really, really evil here to actually get this job done, because so far, it's been pretty one-sided, and it's been All Might all the time. Picture-perfect drop kick from Randy. Anyway, yeah, one more thing here is that apparently now New Japan, their content on Access and the commentary on their content on Access will no longer be dictated by Access. It will now be dictated by New Japan, which means the already existing English commentary that airs on New Japan World with Kevin Kelly and occasionally Don Callis, occasionally other guys, but, you know, your main play-by-play guy is Kevin Kelly. That's going to be the commentary now on Access. So, Jim Ross, Josh Barnett, bye-bye. We're going to get the actual commentary that New Japan gets on their streaming service in English. So, that to me is a plus. That to me is a bonus. Like, I understand the name recognition of Jim Ross that brings in extra eyeballs who wouldn't normally perhaps watch it because they recall, oh, hey, Jim Ross has called some of the greatest matches of all time for both WCW and WWF and E. Like, I get that. But Jim Ross 2018 is not quite what you really want, especially when he gets the names wrong, or he gets the motivations wrong, or, like, he's not super in tune with the New Japan product like Kevin Kelly is, right? So, wow, All Might, wow. That was the power of a true hero, plus Ultra. So, that's pretty cool. Like, I'm definitely down for them having that commentary on Access instead of Jim Ross. Now, that does present an interesting issue in that I had heard that Jim Ross was not allowed to do Wrestle Kingdom commentary because of his contractual thing with WWE until, like, April-ish. Which is weird, because he's usually allowed to do other existing things that he already had in the pipeline, and now he can't do Wrestle Kingdom. Not that I would want that, but I'm saying, like, he should be allowed to if he's, you know, if he wanted to. Like, have that as an alternate, but I don't know. That's weird. And I thought it was okay when they had Kevin Kelly and Jim Ross, and you had Jim Ross as kind of the color guy and not the play-by-play, because obviously Kevin Kelly knows the product a whole lot better than good old JR. And believe me, I love good old JR, but he's not what he used to be on commentary. Or at least, not in a WWE setting and such. Randy Orton finally getting some massive offense here against the massive All Might. And will he hit that RKO? 3 simple letters. And he's calling for it, folks. He's calling for the RKO. Now, he's gotten this before on All Might. That's happened before. But he has not gotten a victory, 2, and he's not going to get one here. But he hits that Orton pose all the same. I think that's going to help somehow against the Ultimate Hero. I don't know. I mean, sure, if he gets enough momentum here and hits another RKO, it could be over for All Might. But that still is definitely up in the air, because generally he gets hit with that Detroit Smash and it's all over for Randy Orton. So again, he needs that killer instinct here. He needs to seriously thrash him in this match. Otherwise, it's just not going to go well for your boy Randy Orton. We're at a 7 count, folks. We're at a 7 count. Oh, and they're spilled to the outside. Good God. It could be a double count out here. This match cannot be contained, folks. This match cannot be contained. All Might in the crowd, glitching back into the ring. And that was certainly something special. Here. Randy Orton with a reverse wheelbarrow, what in the blue hell, submission maneuver, reverse Boston Crab. That is certainly unique, young Randall. Certainly unique. But then I think he just missed his finisher there. He just missed his Detroit Smash. So can Randy Orton capitalize on missing the finishing maneuver? But no, Randy Orton pushed that top rope. Reversed again. And what will be the outcome here in this corner? Randy reverses. Oh, sliding out with the Baron Corbin deal. Boom. Big clothesline. And then calling for that Detroit Smash, perhaps? Nope. Going for a leg lock, shooting the leg, but not getting it. And an RKO times 2. That's got to be it, folks. 1, 2, and only a 2 count. Randy Orton it's impossible. Randy, you finally met your match, Randy. The hero, Randy. And there's that vintage Randy Orton headlock on All Might. and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Like, wait, what? An overhead, or a flipping German, and that was the end of the match? Okay. Weird, but okay. And All Might continues to clean sweep on Randy Orton. With 2 RKOs, it was still not enough. How about that? Busted him open. Still not enough. And your main event, the phenomenal AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre once again. Now, the title is not on the line here, right? But also we know that the Bunny no longer has his Bunny in the Bank briefcase. So this should be just a nice, clean fight, essentially. Gonna throw some hands, gonna have a good fight here on a Tuesday night. Or as they used to say, or as JBL used to say, we fight on Friday nights, Michael. And here we go. 1-on-1 once again. Can the Phenomenal One get the job done against the Scottish Psychopath? Well, that is the question. Because you would imagine Drew still wants his shot. It was ruined last time. So at the next pay-per-view, he should get his shot, right? Maybe. Maybe not. Honestly, with this game, it's hard to tell. So, we'll see. Now, normally, you would think that the power and the strength and even the speed of a Drew McIntyre would thoroughly trounce. Like, on paper, he would thoroughly trounce an AJ Styles. But there are those intangibles in wrestling that are difficult to account for, and certainly being phenomenal is one of those intangibles. And I think it is hilarious that somebody in the crowd has that R-Truth and Goldust t-shirt at the end of this game. It's really funny to me, for some reason. Dude, sit down. Sit down. People behind you can't see, bro. In the t-shirt, sit down. That's annoying. Anyway, AJ working the calf muscles here with those kicks. With those phenomenal kicks. Baseball slide, Hurricanrana onto Big Drew. And can he get somebody that big, that tall, into the Styles Clash? Or can he tap him out? Nope, that was a rope break. Yeah, the other foot on the rope. Legs too long, as we covered in an NXT video with Daniel Bryan and Kevin Nash. Legs too long. But now he has the finisher, though. He has either the Styles Clash or the Phenomenal Forearm. And that's why he has the forearm, is because some guys are too tall for that Styles Clash. You would think. You would think. But also right now, Drew here is still a bit too powerful for AJ Styles. Like that. Big old bear hug and just hucking him across the ring. Kipping up and then calling for the Claymore. Calling for the Claymore. Boom! Claymore to AJ Styles. Is that enough to put him away? No, it is not, Drew. You're gonna need more than just a single Claymore. And we know AJ has a finisher in his pocket here. He could hit the forearm. He could hit the Clash. We don't know which yet. Right now, he's in rest hold for reasons. Pump handle. Gut buster. And he's going for that phenomenal forearm, folks. He's going for that phenomenal forearm. He's calling for it. Wake up taunt on McIntyre. He might overshoot him entirely. What do you got? Boom! Busted him open. Phenomenal forearm. Pinned the man. This might just be over. Call it, ref. 1, a 2, a 3. Just one. It only took one, Drew. Now, how, at this point, can you possibly ask for another title match when you just lost on free TV? Clean in the middle. And that wraps up Sunday. I'm attackslug. Thanks for watching. More videos every day. I'll see you next time right here on this channel. And I'm out.